It was about 14 days ago to today. A friend of mine has spiraled into activities that practically crumbled any innocent thoughts about cartoons altogether. Some very distressing things, so I'll explain this story quickly as I can. She recently learned how to export digital ISOs from straight to DVD media. Her main focus was Spongebob because she was super obsessed with it and never got to watch it much as a kid. We spent a lot of time working out how to download this and how to make sure what programs work, and something about setup involving a DVD burner. But then she finds a website of these episodes online to download as ISOs, and this is the part where everything turns. She went on telling me about a linked episode in the Season 2 category that intrigued her, and said this. So, each set list episodes go from SpongeBob Video SBS to episode 1.iso, all the way to SpongeBob Video SBS 2, episode 35 ISO. But under that one was SpongeBob Videos 2, episode 35 underscore 2.iso, which I presumed originally was the second episode of episode 35 after Idiot Box Band Geeks. But I guess I'm wrong, because SpongeBob Videos BS2 episode 35.iso has both those episodes. Why is there two? Persuaded her that it was probably the same episode link, just uploaded twice. A lot of websites like this can upload the same thing twice, mostly on accident. But that's what me and her thought before initially. You're probably right. Still pretty happy I get to watch these finally. I'm squeezing myself with joy. That was the last message she shot me before going inactive for a fortnight straight without any given reason. There were no updates, no replies, no responses during that time being. And after all that, she finally wrote to me today, with her little story of what transpired during that time. Hey OP, I apologize for not getting back to you for so long, but I had to stay off the computer in fear of what happened. That link. That fucking second link left me in a state of paranoia I can't describe. It's almost undecipherable, and you're probably not going to believe me when I say this, but I'm dead serious from what I saw. After watching most of the SpongeBob episodes I missed out on, I decided to check out that extra link, and it downloaded an ISO that had an episode I'm scared going back detailing. It had that same happy intro, but there was no title card or episode name. It just started with shots of SpongeBob's house. Sent, 11:51 a.m. When SpongeBob did appear on the screen, he was just standing right in front of his door, facing the screen, and he started talking like if he was speaking to me. But no dialogue came out at all. I heard happy music during this scene, and immediately out of nowhere, his face went from his super unnatural happy look. His jaw open, and his pupils shrunken down to dots. He just kind of jittered there with that fucked up face, and it gave me shivers. It went to a shot of him walking with that same look on his face. He was walking forward to the Krusty Krab, but going backwards? Sent. 12:04 p.m. It showed the inside of the Krusty Krab, but there was no character inside. No one was in there but shots of tables, windows, and the kitchen. Then I was immediately assaulted with probably the most horrifying display of multiple Squidwards sitting at tables. Squidward's head up on the ceiling looking at the screen with horrifying smiles, with SpongeBob in the center joining along with them. One another Squidward ran from left to right across in front of the screen, smiling and looking at me like the others. SpongeBob was laughing like how he does in the show, but it was more forced and aggressive. Sound, if you can even call it that, came from them, was like low guttural humming, followed by music that played at a fast pitch. Then it just suddenly buffered on them and they all disappeared again, like if they weren't even there. Sent. 12:19 p.m. The next scene had SpongeBob in a room with that damn smile, only less terrifying, like cartoony happy, and just stopped dead center in the middle of the screen. He just stood there, kinda, for minutes. Then out of nowhere, his eyes just go green, and it played really sad, mellow music. SpongeBob started speaking again, but in Patrick's voice. I couldn't tell what he was saying, but I definitely know it was Patrick's. After the music faded, SpongeBob's eyes faded to white and were replaced with cartoon X's. That humming returned again, as random shots of locations appeared again in quick succession. Then it cut to black out of nowhere. Sent. 12:30 p.m. The last thing I saw was a shot of both SpongeBob and Patrick in horrifying, skin-chilling detail. Some weird out-of-place music played here with that image of SpongeBob smiling right at me. Patrick. I could not tell you how loud I screamed when I saw this frame. There were captions underneath them that read, "In loving memory of," with a name that was unrecognizable before it faded away, and my PC just shut off after that. That image. That fucking image. It can't get out of my head. Ever. And that was SpongeBobVideo.iso, written by the real Lukinspire. Lukinspire. I don't know if this is the actual Lukinspire, but if this is him, feel free to let me know in the comments. Anyways, review time. I'm going to be completely honest, this story was not that great. It didn't make sense in most parts. The story's events just happened on its own. Like, as they went along, there was no coherency to it. Things just happened as the story went forth. Like, for example, it just starts off with SpongeBob staring, then he walks backwards to the Krusty Krab, then there's faces of Squidward everywhere, then his eyes turn green, and then they turn to X's, and then in loving memory of. What's the message? What happened? Like, what is supposed to be going on here? There's no, like I said before, there's no coherency. You don't really understand what's going on. It's just trying to be weird for the sake of scaring the author. Not the author, the reader. Now, I will give this a much more generous rating because I do think that this does have potential. See, this does feel like something I would see in my dreams. Something I would see when I'm having a nightmare after indulging in too many, say, hot chips, sodas, whatever. So, for the sake of it being somewhat like a weird nightmare, I'll give it a higher rating, but not that high. Also, one thing I wanted to point out, the person watching this episode, it really depends, like, how old is she? Because, to be honest, she's kind of, like I mentioned in Garden Flower Story, kind of a scaredy cat. This is just a random SpongeBob episode that has random happenings in it. Oh, Squidward smiled at the screen. There's no real gore. There's no, like, real events transpiring, as seen in this so-called episode. So why is she scared? It's just, I don't understand it. Things just happen for no reason, and it's expected to get unnerved by it. I don't understand. My final rating will have to be a 4 out of 10. It has potential, but, like, it's kind of, not that great, mediocre at best. With more coherency and thought as to why the events went down, I feel like you can make the story much better, Lukinspire. Now that's said, this is simply my own personal opinion, and we all have our opinions regarding these pastas. What did you think of the pasta? What would you do to improve upon it if you were the writer? And as always, I will see you all in the next narration. I love you all. Bless.